Welcome to the Dr. Erin Show. May you live your truth. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful morning or afternoon or evening wherever you are right now. On this 11-minute podcast every day, we come together to know the truth. We come together to get our minds right, to tap into source, and to live on purpose. Living from heart, unifying, and not having discordance between ourselves within and between us and the universe, knowing that we are the individual and we are the entire universe. We are one with everything, everyone, and all of life is the mirror of what's going on within consciousness, the individual consciousness, the collective consciousness, and the cosmic consciousness. So today's talk is titled 5 Daily Habits of Successful People. And I think it's a hot topic. Let's just put it that way. Everyone wants to know, what do successful people do? How do they wake up? What are they up to? People love morning rituals. They love to know the habits, the mindsets, all those things of successful people. We're obsessed with successful people in our culture. Let's face it, we are a big rat race, and it's always about what have you produced? And so I want to just make the distinction that successful people are not just wealthy people. Successful people have good relationships. It's the number one thing, and we know this from the Harvard study, that success comes down to, of course, having abundance and having good health and having great relationships. So on that note, we also know that we are habitual beings, right? That 95, 97, depending on what scientific data you look at, of our lives are run by our subconscious, by the habits of our life. And so first I wanted to give gratitude for the habits, because habits are, when we form good habits, they're hard to create. They might be challenging. We have to break through. We have to, discipline ourselves. But once we create them, our lives get easier and easier. Same with telling the truth. As we said, tell the truth. Sometimes it's hard at first, but once we say it, it gets easier and easier. When creating bad habits, they're just easy. By default, we create bad habits. There's junk food everywhere we look. There's booze everywhere. There's people that are up to nothing all over. Bad habits are easy to form, but once we create them, our lives get worse and worse. And that's the same with telling lies. It's super easy to just tell a lie and tell people whatever you think they want to hear, but it gets harder and harder to remember and keep track of your lies, okay? So today we're going to talk about the 5 things, just 5 tips. I'm sure there's many more, but I want to give you guys 5 kind of distinctions of daily habits that successful people do. So let's get into this. You can get a piece of paper out or just get intentional in your listening. Stop doing everything you're doing. Stop scrolling through social media, because your mind can't truly do 2 things at once, okay? That's a myth. Your mind, and we are directing energy upon mind, and it is important to focus. That's actually one of the things we're going to talk about, okay? So number one is purposeful. Highly successful people live on purpose. They know their why, as Simon Sinek in that great TED Talk talked about. They know their why. They know what their purpose is. They know what is a heart-driven thing. They have a higher purpose generally, okay? Number 2 is focus. Did you know that I believe it's like 97% of the population does not set goals? That's crazy. So every day, a daily practice for successful people is they think about their specific goal. There's a great book, and I refer to it all the time, called The One Thing. And you prioritize your one big goal, say over 10 years, and you break it back down into yearly, monthly, quarterly, and daily goals. So every day, highly successful people, they either set it the night before or they set it in the morning. What is their actual goal? What is their actual results-oriented, prioritized goal? Their one thing, okay? And then number 3 is growth. Highly successful people every day grow. So there's a concept, and it's called the 8-8-8, where you break your day into 8 hours of work, 8 hours of free time, and 8 hours for sleep. And I'm going to tell you the difference between a highly successful person and a non-highly successful person. Most of us have to work 8 hours a day, and most of us need close to 8 hours of sleep. But the differentiation is that third 8-hour chunk of the day. People who are not highly successful generally hang out and do not much of anything constructive or growth in that time. Highly successful people take that 8 hours to grow. They learn things. They research things. They spend time developing great relationships that are going to help them thrive in all areas of their life. They take that 8 hours and they develop their mind. They develop their health. They develop all their relationships. That is the difference between highly successful people and not. That 8 hours will change your entire life as far as growth and becoming an expert in your field, becoming the best, developing communication skills, developing just your whatever cultural taste. They go out to things they love. They develop their hobbies. They develop things that are going to give them back a wealthy lifestyle, a rich lifestyle, meaning that they love their life. Okay, versus someone who just hangs out in those 8 hours and doesn't do anything. Okay. So they grow. Number 3 is they grow. Number 4 is that they are health oriented. Highly successful people know that it takes a lot of energy to fulfill upon their goals, to fulfill upon their dreams, to fulfill and be on purpose and have a focused mind. So generally, highly successful people are very health oriented. That means they make healthy choices throughout the day. Their daily habits are health. Usually they wake up very early in the morning and exercise. Majority of successful people wake up very early in the morning and exercise. Majority of successful people have healthy choices in the food that they eat and the people that they hang around with. Okay. Number 5 is they're committed to good relationships. This is something that very few people think about when they think about successful people, but we know this again from the Harvard study, that 75-year study that they took 2 sets of men, basically, and they found what makes people have successful lives. And the common denominator was good relationships. So this is so important. So again, going over the 5, number 1 is purposeful. So beginning your day, setting your purpose. Lots of time, leadership programs tell us to do it before, like at night. Set your purpose, set your intention, set what your goal is the next day, and let your subconscious mind throughout the night start problem solving through those things. Start innovating in those things, okay? So every day becoming purposeful. Number 2 is focus. Focus on your one thing, your one goal. What is it that you're going to actually produce today, okay? Knowing that if you have goals and if you look at your goals every day, you're in the top 1% of the population of staying focused, okay? Number 3 is growth, knowing that there's, if you break your day into thirds, it's 8 hours, 8 hours, and 8 hours. And if you really take the kind of downtime, what would be playtime for people, taking that and having it be an actual time to grow. How are you growing in those 8 hours? You work for 8 hours, you sleep for 8 hours. What are you doing for the other 8 hours? Are you growing? Are you growing yourself in your education, growing yourself in your relationships, growing yourself in your health, wealth, all of the above, okay? Number 4 is health oriented. What kind of choices are you making to live a life, a daily habit of health? Getting up early, making it happen, exercising, getting your body moving, making good choices for what food you're going to be eating throughout the day. Number 5 is being committed to good relationships. That means people you work with, developing relationships that are going to be good. You're investing in people, right? Committing in good relationships that are around you, because we know that people can raise us up or drag us down. So successful people have daily routines about and habits of focusing and developing those relationships. Okay. So today we go through a law every day. Today's law is we align with the law of spirituality. And the reality is that all of this has to come from you. You are the one that creates the habits, your true self. The reality is that everything is created from spirit, your true essence. You can call it God, you can call it divine, you can call it just your true self, your higher self. But the reality is that none of these habits will ever happen if it's not from a space of authenticity, that true aspect of yourself, creating from first cause, okay? And then today's spiritual practice is to start your day by going within and getting clarity on your specific purpose, okay? And then today's challenge is practice, practice, practice. I mean, when we start habits, they're not easy. They can be challenging, but just keep doing it. Even though you fall off, even though you didn't do it perfectly one day, just keep practicing. Practice, 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 okay? Practice makes perfect. I can't say it. Okay, so onward Today is all about creating habits, because guess what? You're a habitual being. No matter what you do, even if you intentionally set habits or not, you're still creating your habits regardless. So you might as well become conscious of them, okay? So if you've benefited from this talk today, please share it with somebody that you feel would benefit, because we can't have anything in this universe unless we give it away. That's the law of the universe. You can find me across social media at Dr. Erin and drerin.tv. On Instagram, I'm drerin.tv, and you can download my app at URL drerin.tv. You can get my free podcast. I do have a book, you guys. I don't talk about it that much on this podcast. It's called Awakening, a 40-day guide to unleashing your spiritual powers, life purpose, and manifesting your dreams. It's gone viral over in UK. Very happy about that. Awesome to get messages from all the women across the world, men as well, but a lot of women. You can find that at erinfallhaskell.com. Just go to the book tab, or it's /awakening book. You can find it on Amazon under Erin Fall Haskell or Awakening. And on that note, you guys, have a divine day, knowing that you get to awaken and create the habits that you want for your life. And may you live your truth.